Hello viewers, Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. You are with Moksha Hiremat. Today I would like to tell you something about Maadara DuLayya. Most of us don't know anything about Maadara DuLayya. Of course, it is a very well-known name for the students of literature, either Kannada or English or literature of any language for that matter. Maadara DuLayya was lived in the 12th century. It is assumed he was in the period of circa 1160 of Common Era. Of course, his father was Kakkayya and mother was Nuli Devi. The name of the wife was Dharuki. Maadara DuLayya was a Sharana. He was a Sharana of different type and speciality. He fought against society in giving a voice to his thoughts and feelings. His fight was non-violent one. It was a fight without the sword. That is very important, When we talk of a fight or battle, the swords, guns, pistols, tankers, nuclear weapons, etc., come to our memory. But there was a Sharana who fought against the existing system without a sword. He was a man of simplicity. He didn't have anything except his work, except his kayaka. He was making footwear for Sharanas. He didn't do that job for others. Only he did it for sake of Sharanas. Because he believed Sharanas and he himself was a Sharana. So he knew what Sharana did mean. That is why he continued his kayaka. He continued his work for the sake of Sharanas. He believed that work was worship. Through work, he found out Kailasa. He did not differentiate between work and heaven. One could get heaven, one could go to heaven if he did his work properly. That is why we can see his devotion to the work without any doubts. So many persons tell work is worship, but nowadays it has taken a different turn. Worship itself becomes a work. Such persons don't see the heaven through their work. Of course, work and worship are very important. One should work, one should take a rest, one should meditate, one should go to heaven. In order to go to heaven, besides work, one should meditate. That is, the person who carries work and worship hand in hand achieves something, because they are the part and parcel of life. Work fulfills our material life, whereas meditation fulfills our spiritual life. Work and spirituality are there in the life of a human being. They are the part and parcel of a life. So, Maadara DuLayya believed in that concept. It is not only a belief, but it was his culture. He cultivated that type of culture in his life. So, he becomes an important one for the persons who think of society and who think of justice for society, who thinks of liberty, equality, and fraternity. That is why Maadara DuLayya becomes an important model, an important role player, leading player for all the persons who have or who dream the beautiful society in the world. Even though Maadara DuLayya lived in the 12th century of Common Era, but when we go through his vachanas and his life, definitely we think that he is relevant even today. He is more relevant today than any other days. Of course, Maadara DuLayya came from a family which didn't have any voice. It was a voiceless family, or we can say it was a family of voice without voiceless. But Maadara DuLayya gave a voice not only to his family, but to the whole society. He fought against the social injustice and inequality. He fought against the pollution of the society. He fought against the evil system of the society without the swords, without the weapons. When we think of a fight, definitely the weapons like nuclear bombs, atomic bombs, drones, swords, guns, pistols, etc., etc., advanced weaponry comes to our mind. But if you look at the life of DuLayya, Maadara DuLayya, we need not all these weaponries to fight against injustice in the society. Maadara DuLayya fought against the society without the swords. His swords were his vachanas, his swords were his kayaka. So only kayaka and vachana become his weapons. It is very peculiar, seeing this. sitting in the corner of a room in the second part of in the first part of the 21st century, doing all those things, etc., etc. It seems very curious to think of fight without the sword against the injustifiable social system. But Maadara DuLayya did it. In the 21st century, no one dreams of fighting against the existing injustifiable evil social system without the movements, without the weapons, without the false information, without the fake informations, without the fake things. He was not a Gobel who told that untrue things could be proved as a true one by saying it 100 times. Nowadays, we could see, we can feel it in this digital area. Digital media is so powerful, is so advanced to an extent that it could make a lie a true one a lie one. It shows to the society the things which are not important, hiding the important things. It exposes the persons who are worth, who are true to their life, but it keeps away from the exhibition, from exposition, the persons who do an evils to the society, who indulged in injusticiable acts, who indulged in other so many bad activities. But Maadara DuLayya was not belonged to that category of fake information, that category of Nakali Babas and Devamanavas and the Sharanas and the Swamis only in the orange costumes, only in the Kavi costumes. Maadara DuLayya fought against all these evil forces in his own way. By that he beautified his life. In addition to his kayaka, he voiced in the form of vachanas his thoughts and beliefs. By that he gave a voice to the voiceless people. By that he stood for the people who were suppressed, oppressed and exploited. He stood for the people unpolluted, whom the others felt that they were polluted. But Maadara DuLayya was a different one from such a category of people. He was a Vachanakara. He composed so many Vachanas, but now 106 Vachanas are found. 106 Vachanas are available. And he used his pen name. He used his signature. His signature is Kama Duma Dhuleshwara. Of course, we have only this much of information regarding his life. Of course, that happens in so many cases of Sharanas, Sharanas don't give any importance to their personal life. And Maadara DuLayya is not an exception to this. He was a Sharana from head to foot. And he knew what was wrong, what was right in the society. So he stood for the righteousness in the society, and he voiced that righteousness in his vachanas. That is why Sharanas like Maadara DuLayya became a role model for our society nowadays. If I put before you some of his vachanas, I hope you will come to know the concepts and beliefs of Maadara DuLayya. I would like to read only 3 vachanas of Maadara DuLayya. They were like this. Like the fragrance hidden in the flower, like the fragrance hidden in the flower, the grace hidden in the lover, the charm hidden in the hair, one is aware and is made aware. When the two is dissolved to become one and perfect, when the two is dissolved to become one and perfect, where is the need for the pollution of various words and ways? Where is the need for the pollution of various words and ways? O Kamadhuma Dhuleshwara. Of course, his vachanas are very simple. Here, fragrance hidden in the flower. That grace is there in the lover. It is also hidden. That means a true lover, not these fake lovers. That is, grace is hidden in the true lover, not of fake lovers, not of this Facebook lovers or other lovers and etc. etc. Nowadays we have so many cases of such things, That is another thing. So anyhow, here I would like to concentrate on DuLayya, referring to the so-called modernity. So, here that grace is there in the true lover. That means that lover was God in the sense of godliness, in the sense of goodness, in the sense of God. He talked of lover, not in the sense of materialism, or not in the sense of matter, not in the sense of passion. His was a passionless passion. Of course, the air is charmful because that charm is hidden in the hair. So, one should be aware of all these things, and at the same time, he should make others aware of it also. When the body and mind dissolved together to become one, then where is the question of pollution? Where is the question of polluting the ways and words? That question doesn't arise Here the union of mind and body becoming one is very important. Where these two things are union together to become one, then the question of choosing words, then the question of using different type of words to suggest or indicate the things in the society doesn't arise. So that is what he tells us, that pollution is not a matter if man's mind and body union together to become one. That is, he gives importance to the union of body and mind. That is, the spiritual one and material one should be unioned together to create a beautiful society. That is one of his vachanas. And another vachana, the oil in the seed, the juice in the fruit, the color in gold, the milk in the mutton, the sweetness of the sugar cane. Unless the inside is uncovered, the pollution of caste is not lost. Unless the inside is uncovered, the pollution of the caste is not lost. Unless the trust in Ishta is firmly seen, the pollution of the stone is not lost. The pollution of stone is not lost. Unless all this is given up, knowledge doesn't become wide. Kamadula, Kamaduma, Duleshwara. So, he reveals the things hidden in something. He gives examples of gold, seed and fruit. See, when we look at the seed, we simply thought of the seed. But we don't know that oil is hidden in the seed. When we look at the fruit, we think that the appearance of the fruit, we say it is nice, it is beautiful, but we don't know the beautiful juice it is produced, the tasty juice, the potential juice there in the fruit. That is very important, but not its appearance. Appearance is another thing, but what is hidden in the appearance is very important for persons like Maadara DuLayya. That juice is hidden in the fruit, that juice, that healthy juice is very important for human being. Of course, color is also there in the gold. That color is hidden in the gold. We think of mutton. So many persons use it also. But they don't think of milk in the mutton. That milk is there in the mutton, you know. And there is a sweetness of sugar cane. All these things are there in these plants, in these animals. But we don't think of those hidden things, but we think of only outward things. That outward things should lead us to inward things. It should lead us to hidden inward things, and then only it is very helpful. So, unless we don't know, we don't cover and we don't uncover the covered things, the pollution of caste is not lost. Those hidden things should be shown outwardly. Those hidden things should be realized properly. Those hidden things should be uncovered. They are covered but should be uncovered. When man uncovered those hidden things, then the question of and the pollution of caste is lost. That is, if he realized his own self, then the question of caste doesn't arise. Then the caste itself will be lost. Caste itself will be lost forever and ever. But if you don't uncover the covered things, the caste would be continued. But in order to lose that caste, one should uncover the covered things. That is, one should realize oneself. And in order to realize that thing, one should believe firmly in Ishta. And when he believes firmly in Ishta, automatically then the pollution of stone is not lost. If you believe firmly in the Ishta, then only we can lose the pollution of stone. Otherwise you will go on and on worshipping that stone, which has become a stavara, which has become static. So, but if you are moving, if you think of that stone in different ways, it becomes a moving object, and static and moving should go hand in hand, should be understood properly, should be realized properly, then only the pollution of the stone will be lost. So that is why one should give up all these things, then only knowledge becomes wide. Then only we can have or we can attain the nothingness in the life. Then we can attain the absoluteness or the nothingness in the life. That is what Maadara DuLayya expressed in this vachana. And another vachana, to the moving wind, body is all hands. To the burning fire, feeling is all mouth. To the flowing water, its whole body is its legs. To him who touches, unaware, unforgetful, no offering is first, last, or middle. Kama, Dhuma, Dhuleshwara is beyond all pollution. Very nice. So, wind blows. At that time, the body of that wind becomes its hands. So, when fire is burning, the mouth becomes its feeling, or feeling itself becomes a mouth. To the flowing water, body becomes a leg. And the person who touches something unawarely or unforgetfully, if such a person should not be made in offering, or should not be the first offering or last offering or middle offering. That means that touching is not a sin here. Touching in the good sense. because this touching sometimes is jocularly used in some cases, especially when boy and girl come together. Not that. Here, DuLayya used the word touching in a different sense, in a humanitarian point of view. That touching is very important, you know. If you keep away other persons from touching by saying injustifiable things, that is not justifiable one. That is not a good one for the development of a society. That doesn't create a beautiful society. Touching among human beings is a kind of requirement for the development of humanity. Human beings can't grow without touching other human beings. So, such a sort of touching of human beings is very important. Here, Maadara DuLayya refers to that sense of touching, but not other things. So that sort of touching must be there in the social life, you know. Without that touching, that social life becomes a deserted one. So he refers to the deserted life of that thing. So, when someone touches another one, you know, awarely or unawarely, the question of offering doesn't become very important. The question of first offering, last offering or middle offering doesn't arise. Here that the humanity of human beings are very important, you know. That Maadara DuLayya talks of that humanity. He talks of human society. He talks of equality, fraternity and liberty. So he gave his voice to all these things in his vachanas. If we go through of his vachanas, definitely we feel that such vachanas would create a beautiful society. Here I have cited only 3 of his vachanas, but other 103 vachanas are not yet read, because in a given setup of time, all the vachanas can't be read. It is a kind of inspiration towards reading those remaining vachanas. So, here the point is, the person like Maadara DuLayya becomes a role model for the unhealthy society, for the polluted society. He becomes a role model to create a beautiful society in the world. So in this way, that Maadara DuLayya would become a real Sharana. We can see it anywhere, in any place. Such Sharanas, such persons, such noble ones are the need of the day. I hope I have conveyed what I wanted to convey to you. And remaining thing is left to you. Subscribe and share, and see you in the next episode. Namaskar. Thank you.